So good morning class. Today we'll be taking up a new chapter in geography.
Good morning, madam.
Please take out your geography books. And the next chapter we take up is agriculture. All eyes here. Okay. Now we talk about in agriculture the different kinds of agricultures. Okay. There are various other than the farming. There is sericulture and pisciculture also. Okay. Then we'll talk about the factors which affect agriculture. Basically the place, the type of soil, all this determines the factors. Then about the distribution of different crops, about their climatic conditions, and then we'll also be able to make comparison between the farms of India and USA. Yeah. So we begin with this. Human life depends upon several economic activities which can be categorized into three main categories, such as primary, secondary, and tertiary. In primary activities, we mainly include the activities which are directly related to nature. Please underline that if you wish to. Primary, then write directly related to nature. Okay? Like agriculture, it's a primary activity. Clear? Secondary activities include the processing of raw material obtained from nature, like making of clothes and different goods, etc. So, like the basic product which we got from nature, the moment we start making that rough project into a proper one, we call it a secondary activity. Like a plucking of cotton from the fields is a primary activity. Making of clothes out of those cotton balls is a secondary activity. Clear? Then we talk of the third one. Secondary activities include processing of raw materials, making clothes, etc. And tertiary activities are mainly concerned with the transport, communication, banking, insurance, teaching, etc. Okay, so tertiary activities are those which are totally different, which are into a modernized society that we take up a job. Okay, basically those. So, seeing the heading of the chapter, which activity are we going to deal with first? The primary activity. So, here it is. Agriculture is a primary activity as we are dependent upon land to grow crops. It includes growing of crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, rearing of livestock. 50% people of the world are engaged in agriculture. Okay, now please make very sure not just growing of crops is agriculture or the primary activity, rather, it is agriculture, but then we add a few works like pisciculture, which means the looking after of fishes, taming those fishes in a fish tank, clear, for our use and need. Then the poultry farms, okay. Then the cattle farms where the cow and buffaloes are looked after. All these are part of agriculture. Clear? The extended part of agriculture, and we'll write about them and we'll read about them. And this they tell us that nearly 50% of people all over the world they are engaged in agriculture. In are engaged in agriculture. Please underline that 65% of the country is agriculture. Okay, India is considered an agricultural country. The word agriculture is derived from Latin word. Please underline Latin word, and the name and the word is ager or agri, meaning soil, and culture meaning cultivation. So soil cultivation. Yeah. It means agriculture is an activity which depends upon soil to grow crops. Clear? Now we come on to factors. Please, you can do that later. Factors affecting agriculture. Definitely, there are many factors. The proper landforms, the type of soil, all these other various factors which affect in the proper growing of a crop. Clear? Let's go on. We grow crops in agriculture, but there are some factors which affect the agriculture of an area, such as the favorable topography. Now, for good agriculture, flat, leveled land is an ideal condition. Therefore, world's plain areas are suitable for agriculture. So you can just underline plain. That means the best place for growing crops is the plain, flat topography. Okay? For example, in northern plains of India, we find well-developed agriculture. Clear? Because our land is quite a lot flat land. Okay? Next is the soil. Obviously, what kind of soil it is. Okay? And as we all know, the best suitable soil for growing crops is, come on. No. Alluvial soil. Okay? Soil also affects the agriculture, as well as drained fertile soils are very good for better growth of crops. Soil with appropriate nutrients, humus content is ideal for agriculture. For example, alluvial soil of river valleys, black soil, etc. produce good crops. So the best is alluvial, which is basically a soil which is next to a river body or a water body. Because all the mineral deposits are there, and plus that soil is rich in nitrogen. Nitrogen helps in the growth of plants to their, and by providing them the ultimate nutrients which are required for its growth. Clear? So alluvial soil is the best soil. You can underline alluvial soil. Then third is the climate of that place. Now that place means we talk about India as a whole. We all know the difference between a climate and a weather. Climate is for a longer duration of time. Yeah? And the place where we are living. If we are closer to the closer to the latitudes, closer to the equator, that means we are getting immense sunlight. There's a lot of evaporation and there's good rainfall. Clear? Clear? Apart from living on the poles. It's very different. You cannot have vegetation, though there is soil. People say that the soil there is very fertile. But then since it's snow covered throughout, do you think we are able to use it? No. So soil depends before soil, we depend upon climate of a place. Clear? So let's see that. Along with topography and soil, climate also plays an important role in development of agriculture. Polar areas are not suitable for agriculture as germination of seeds is not possible in very cold areas. But tropical and temperate regions provide good climatic conditions for agriculture. So the tropical are those, the Tropic of Cancer belt and Tropic of Capricorn. That means that belt, 23.5 degrees north and south. That is the fertile area. And then the lower temperate zone, the temperate area. Okay? Just above the tropics, both the sides. Clear? Did you get it? So please underline the tropics and the tropical and the temperate regions. They are best suited for agriculture. Is this much clear to each one? Moving further, the land on which the crops are grown is known as arable land. Please underline that. Agricultural activity is mainly concentrated in the world where suitable factors are found. This is a very obvious thing that you'll see agriculture only in those areas where you have suitable conditions. That means favorable topography, soil, and the third factor, climate. Clear? Next, we come on to farm system. farming or agriculture is like a system, as we give inputs and we take outputs from that system. Inputs in agriculture include seeds, fertilizers, machinery, and labor. These inputs are used for some operations like plowing, sowing, irrigation, weeding, and harvesting. The outputs from the system includes crops, wool, dairy, and poultry products. So they have told you basically the farm system is the input and the output. What do you put in? You put in the seeds, you put in the fertilizers, you do the labor on it, you use machinery for its development, you give it water every now and then and regularly, and that results in the output of these byproducts from the soil. Clear? The plants which give the fruits or maybe the flowers or maybe the other products like the dairy products, etc. Clear? So these are called the output. Then we come on to types of agriculture. Alag-alag types के agricultures. Okay, that means the way we do them. Different kinds of agriculture are found in different parts of the world, which depends upon the geographical conditions, climate, demand of produce, and labor and level of technology and culture. So all these factors, they are very important in determining what type of agriculture you're going to take. Obviously, we know about the climate. We know about the demands of produce. Now, demands of produce, that means what the people of that particular area need from the soil the most. Yeah, like a country like ours, we are dependent for wheat and rice. That is the major crop, isn't it? Our staple diet consists of wheat and rice. Leave the pulses, these two are the basic. So obviously the agricultural people would look for the demand of produce and they will definitely grow this more to meet the needs. Clear? Then they talk of labor. Obviously you need labor. Any work which is there on the fields has to be taken out and it could not be done by one single-handedly by the owner. So they need people, they need labor to finish off their work. Then level of technology. Now, the kind of advancement we have, if we have better, like instead of a farmer tilling the soil and putting up a seed in a single way, then it will be very long when he finishes off. Other than the fact he uses a proper modernized machinery, where he's using a tractor and pulling out the area and putting in seeds. Yeah, now the things have been more advanced, where there's a machine which does that work at a regular interval. So this tells you about the technology. Clear? Now, agriculture may be broadly grouped into the following two groups: the subsistence farming and the commercial farming. Now, as the word tells us, subsistence means our basic needs for which we need our subsistence. That means things that are definitely required by us for our daily use and needs. Those are called subsistence. So यानी कि वो चीजें जिनकी हमें दिन रात जरूरत पड़ सकती है. Then commercial. It's not that we are not using those commercial crops. Those are those crops which could be used as a secondary for commercial purpose. That means we sell them off more to gain money. Yeah, like if given a chance, you grow rice first or will you grow apples? Obviously, you look for rice first. Yeah, because that is your staple need. That is your need for survival. And most of the time, fruits, etc., they are needed by our consumption, for our consumption, but then it will be more for selling off. So those are the commercial farmings. Okay, let us go for subsistence farming. As the word indicates, such kind of agriculture is mainly for the subsistence of the farmer and his family. That means to survive and live up the conditions, it is basically for the subsistence of the farmer and his family. It only fulfills the basic food requirements of the farmers. Underline the basic food requirements of the farmers. That means subsistence is basically dealing with the needs of a farmer. The people concerned with such kind of farming have low technological level. They are uneducated and have small money to invest in farming. So there are three things. They are low technologically advanced. Their level of technology is very low. then they are most of the time uneducated and they have little money to deal with it. Clear? That is why they have a small piece of land, they work on it, and whatever returns they get, it is only for their consumption. Clear? They grow only food crops like wheat, potato, maize, etc. As their farm size are small. Subsistence farming may be again classified into two: intensive subsistence farming and primitive subsistence. Intensive means using new technology, and primitive means following age-old methods of farming. Clear? जो पुराने जमाने से चले आ रहे हैं वही तकनीक यूज करना. Clear? Let us go into it. Intensive subsistence agriculture. This kind of agriculture is most common in the thickly populated areas where the growing of food to feed large population is always the most important question. So obviously, feed the people is more important question, and they work on those lines. Clear? In such areas, people do agriculture on small pieces of land due to limited land available for agriculture. They have little piece of land and they work on it just to survive for their needs. People use simple tools and more labor. So they are dependent upon simple machines. They don't have big, intricate machinery to work on. And the labor is more because the whole family is working for that one piece of land. Clear? Sometimes rich farmers use modern techniques to do agriculture. In these areas, climate is suitable, which allows farmers to take more than one crop in a year. Rice is the main crop. Wheat, maize, pulses, and oilseeds are other crops grown in this kind of agriculture. Please underline that: rice being the main crop, and wheat, maize, pulses being the secondary ones, and oilseeds to live up to their needs. It is common in monsoon region of South, Southeast, and East Asia. So this is the place, these are the places where this kind of intensive subsistence agriculture is done. The areas are, please underline them: South, Southeast, and East Asia. If this is Asia, South, Southeast, and East Asia. That is extreme south, the below portion where India is. You know, in Asia, India is the southern area. So where India is, there people do this. In the eastern extents of Asia, there they do it. And in the southeastern area. That means this whole belt from south to east is basically dependent upon the intensive subsistence agriculture, where they have small pieces of land. They only grow the staple crop, which is needed for their existence. Most of the time, the farmers are poor, so they are uneducated, and they use the very low level of technology. Then there are certain rich people, they might go for modernized ways, but then they also follow the same method of growing one major crop and then 2-3 other subordinate crops. Clear? Moving further, primitive subsistence agriculture. It is the oldest technique of agriculture, which includes shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. Before I go into the details, just know the terms: shifting agriculture. That means this is the land, using that land doesn't belong to them. After using, the lands get depleted after 2-3 years, it has no more fertility left, they switch over to another. This is called shifting. Moving from one land to another, shifting. Clear? As simple as that. Then they're talking of nomadic herding. From the age-old times, you know that early man was a nomad. Clear? He used to shift from one river bank to another, living a nomadic life. No fixed family life in a particular house built up technique. Clear? It's not that they're living in caves now, but then they are living closer to the means of their resources and building up a temporary place to live and moving on. Clear? So let us go into the details. Shifting agriculture. It is also known as slash and burn. Please underline this. After using that land, it is no longer in use, they burn it up. Cut the slash means they are cutting down what they have grown, taking it for their consumption, and then burning that area. Burning, the things turn into ashes. Ashes, they provide nutrients to the soil. Clear? Let's go on. So they is also known as slash and burn. Underline that. Agriculture, as the farmers or the cultivators search a small piece of land by felling trees and burn them. The ashes of these trees mixed with soil acts as a fertilizer. So I just made a mistake of just telling you one thing wrong. They take up a forest area, they cut down the trees and burn those trees there. Now those ashes, they act as a nutrient to the soil, and then they start growing the crops there. The ashes of these trees mixed with soil act as fertilizers. Then farmers and their families do agriculture with primitive tools such as hoe, jaw, and jigging sticks. They grow mainly farn, potatoes, cassava, etc. After 3 or 4 years, that piece of land loses its fertility, and farmers leave this land and move in search of other pieces of land. Such kind of agriculture is most common in thickly forested areas. Please underline thickly, common in thickly forested areas of Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia, and Northeast India. Northeast India, that means in the Assam side, okay? Where there is heavy rainfall and quick regeneration of vegetation. So basically, they please underline that heavy rainfall. Now, since they are cutting down trees, so if this will happen for years, then a time might come when there will be lesser trees and there will be a lot of barren land. So basically, this mode of agriculture is practiced in those areas where they have heavy rainfall, and so the regermination of plants is quicker. Yeah. Moving on to nomadic herding. In such kind of agriculture, herdsmen move from one place to another with their cattle for fodder and water along defined routes. Defined routes means near to the seashore, near to the water bodies, okay, not seashore. Such kind of movements happen due to limitations and foundations of climate. For example, the Gujjar, please underline these two examples, Gujjar and Bakarwal of Kashmir, come down from high mountains with their cattle due to extreme cold and return back during summer season. Such farming is practiced in the semi-arid and arid regions of Sahara, Central Asia, and some parts of India. These underline semi-arid India, like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir, Gujjars and Bakarwals. Okay, people mainly rear sheep, camel, yak, and goats, which provide them milk, meat, wool, hides, and other products. So this is what they do it for. Clear till here? Please underline the animals: sheep, camel, yak, goats, etc. These are all basically in the hills where they do all this. Clear? I hope we have. I'm clear till here. All have paid attention. So in our next class, we'll take up the next heading. Thank you.